another edition of the Rockin Rewind podcast. Here's your host, James Poovey and Ray Miranda.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Rockin Rewind podcast. James Poovey alongside my co-host, Mr. Ray Miranda. Ray, we have the pleasure tonight of talking to a gentleman named Dave that we met back in the beginning part of February at the Dream Theater show here in Mesa, Arizona. And he had the privilege of going to 13 shows total on this tour. We're going to talk to him tonight and get some behind the scenes stories. He had a great time. Obviously saw some great music along the way, and I'm excited to hear about his travels.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Hope you all had a great Easter. We're going to talk to Dave here, and I just want to hear what happens on the road with DT, you know, and you know, we met him the first show of their whole tour. And he has been with them for a long time, and now he can tell us what's been going on. So let's bring him on.
Let's get him in here. Double D, thanks for joining us tonight. How are you, sir?
Yeah. What's up, brother?
We appreciate you taking the time. It was a pleasure getting to meet you back in Mesa, Arizona at the beginning part of February. And then when we heard that you were going to do the cross-country thing with the band and follow them around and get to as many shows as possible, we said, hey, we can't wait to have you on the show one day and talk about your travels, and that leg of the tour is wrapped up, and here we are. We've got you on with us.
We're here. Awesome.
Well, I just want to say one thing real quick. James, you and I went to that show, and we went out and went to the back and tried to talk to these guys, you know, just hang out back there. And Double D was right there. And that's how we met him. And he's like, you know, hey man, you just gotta hang out. Well, we did hang out. And then we found out that he tours around with them, you know, on his own. And so that's why we're talking to him now, because I know there's some hardcore Dream Theater fans out there. And this guy has insights that we would probably never know about. And he hopefully will tell us about some stuff tonight, you know, from the Mesa show in Arizona all the way out to, 13, 14, 15 shows that he has been to. And he can just give us some insight.
I'll do the best.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great to talk to Dave tonight and get an update on his travels. Just take us through us, Dave. How did this come about? When did you become a Dream Theater fan? I know you've been a fan for a number of years, probably a couple of decades, even at this point. Just take us through your fandom with Dream Theater and how that all came to be.
You know, for me, it's like the first time I ever heard them back in the day, you know. Geez, now you're going to crush me, and I'm going to have to give you an album name, and I'm on the spot. But, you know, back in the early 90s, started listening.
I can help you out.
Love what I heard, and I've been a big fan ever since. I mean, I'm a huge Rush fan. That's my number one. Sorry, Dream Theater. They'll always be my number one.
I love Rush, man.
A lot of Dream Theater fans feel the same way, Dave. No problem.
Yeah.
But, you know, I met some friends at a Dream Theater, at a Rush show, and they're huge Dream Theater fans too. And we started doing the traveling thing. Unfortunately, you know, it was after Portnoy left the band. I've seen shows previous, but I never did what I do now, which is, you know, any given tour since Mangini joined, I probably anywhere from 5 to 11 shows. This time was the
wow
kicker with 13. That was pretty crazy. But
that is crazy, man. That is crazy. You know,
here's a picture of us right there. The night that we met you back in early February. That's backstage there. You see the tour buses back there, and they were loading up. We were just kind of waiting around to see who we could hang out or maybe see who we could catch. You know, they always tell you, oh, they're they're coming out in a minute here, but you never know if they actually are or not.
Well, and the whole, usually they would. I mean, on a typical tour pre-COVID, they would come out. Not always, not every one of them. Some of them, would come out one night, maybe a couple of the other guys the other night, but this COVID thing, they were being careful. And I get it. They got a lot of money on the line. So, you can't afford to get sick. And so they played it safe, which was smart, but made it tough to see the boys.
Well,
crowd.
I'll tell you real quick. I am glad that they did what they did and had the balls to do what they did and come into Arizona and play that show, kind of at the, it wasn't the height of COVID. It was kind of towards the end, but just doing what they did. I'm totally happy with what they did in that show. And I don't blame them for not coming out and talking to, their fans or whatever. I don't know if they do that regular. You can tell us, Double D. I mean, do they do that regularly or
what as far as coming out after the show?
Yeah.
It's always been that way. At least as long as I've been doing the hangout, try to get everything in a signed and get pictures and, they used to come out all the time. And this time, I mean, I didn't really even get to see anybody close up. I saw Jordan in San Diego. That was the closest I got to him for a long time. And I kept away. I know what they were trying to do. And I could have walked up to Jordan and started talking to him, but I talked at a distance. He knows I've met him so many times. I've done like 40 plus meet and greets with these guys. They know who I am. So they're always very cool to me, but I didn't want to press that boundary with him, So I just kept my distance. He was over by the bus. I was walking through a little area and we chatted from a distance and that was that. But as far as getting to talk to those guys, it was near impossible for the whole tour, which was crazy. But at the end, and we'll get there later, I don't want to split the cat out of the bag yet.
Okay.
Get some good interactions towards the end. So that.
Well, we got a really cool video we're going to run here in just a little bit of that Jordan Root has put up on Instagram that shows you like right up there in the front row and just giving it to him and you're having a great time at the show. But I wanted to ask you before that, what did you do ticket wise along the way? Did you just kind of show up the day of and buy your tickets, kind of knowing that things usually weren't sold out, or did you have some shows already dialed in that you knew and maybe you bought some tickets in advance for those shows? How'd that work out?
Well, typically I would have gone and bought the tickets for all the shows I knew I wanted to go to and, done whatever I had to do to get good tickets. But this time I wasn't sure how, I didn't know how it was going to go, especially with the California shows. I didn't know I'm going to be masked. I'm not going to go to a show where everybody's wearing a mask, but I already kind of heard other shows. People are, you got to wear your mask walking through the door, and then basically everybody takes them off for the rest of the time that they're in there. So, so I kind of played it by ear, and I did that the whole tour. I mean, I didn't get tickets to some shows until 1 hour before the show. LA, I literally was downloading the ticket less than an hour before the show for the LA show. I wasn't even sure I was going to hit it.
Were you able to get good seats, or were you way up in the top, or what?
I never sat worse than sixth row. I was either 1, 2, 4, 6. That's what always kind of seemed to be my numbers.
Fantastic.
1 and 2 several times, so that was cool.
Now, is that from the box office, or is that from someone outside selling unused tickets or scalpers, as we call them?
A little bit of both.
Just whatever kind of worked, whatever the show presented, that's kind of what you went with, huh?
Yeah, like the Nashville show, the Grand Ole Opry, they played there. I got a 4th row ticket, and it was $49.
Get out of here!
Freaking deal on it. Because the Grand Ole Opry handles their own ticket sales. They don't go through Ticketbastard. And,
I like that.
They literally have been grandfathered in on something like that for sure.
Yeah. Well,
so they played at the Ryman then.
Kent Showware's like that too. The place they played in the Seattle area, they have their own ticketing deals. So, I got, when they originally had their tour scheduled, I had a second row ticket for Seattle at the Paramount Theater. Then they canceled because of COVID. That was $300 for that ticket. When they went on sale for the Seattle show and they've changed venues to the Kent Shower, I got 2 front row tickets for the same price, $300. I had 2 front row tickets for that show. It's just weird how it works.
Tickets are all over the map, really. It's kind of like airline tickets. It's, you could be sitting next to a guy that paid $25 for his airline ticket, and you paid $2,500 for yours. But
yeah.
Anyway, let's take a look at this video really quick. What show was this that this was shot? Look at you there, right in the front row.
That's the man right there.
That was Dallas. That was the Bomb Factory in Dallas.
Oh, the Bomb Factory.
Yeah, look at you, man. You're right there in the front row.
That looks a lot like the Cajun House. Have you ever been there in Scottsdale? Kind of the same sort of deal, kind of a horseshoe shape, and there's the guys in the Stars jersey. That looks nice right there.
Yeah, that was a fun show. That's a good venue. I've seen them there before, and we had a great time the last time they played there that I saw them there. So I like that venue. It's pretty awesome.
So that venue right there, is that bigger than the Mesa venue? It looks like it to me.
It's probably comparable. I don't know what the capacity was, but probably pretty close.
Okay.
It just Mesa's laid out a little different, they're, but I mean, they were both very well attended. That's for sure, as you can see.
Well,
by the
and
video.
how's the sound?
Video, by the way, that was his Instagram post. So.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
The sound in there pretty good, because I know Dream Theater are sticklers on their sound.
Oh yeah.
And how was that sound in there?
Sounded good. Sounded really good.
Okay, yeah, because they are very. And I told James when the show that we were all at, the very first show, I was like, "Damn, man, this sounds friggin' amazing."
That venue's awesome.
Petrucci sound was awesome.
Yes,
on that show, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is like, man, I've never sat. I never had. I was concerned because it was their first show for the whole tour, and I'm like, man, I don't like first shows because they have to work out all the bugs. But he was amazing. His sound was amazing in that show, and what do you think about that?
The Mesa show was awesome. That's a great venue. I've been there. I think that was my 4th time seeing them in Mesa, 3rd or 4th time.
Wow.
I kind of lose track, but it was an amazing show. The sound was good. Sometimes it's hard to judge the sound sitting in the front row because you get a lot of the sound, but I never had a problem with the sound. I could hear everything. I could hear the bass, drums, keyboards, guitar. I could hear James singing everything. And, it sounded pretty well mixed to me from my vantage point. Yeah. So I couldn't complain about any of the shows.
Okay. Oh, I could, but good. That's fantastic. Hey, let me ask you something, man, real quick. Sorry, James.
No, go ahead.
Now, James is a drummer. Okay. Now, one thing I noticed about this tour is that Mangini had a small drum kit. Smaller than normal.
Right.
Now,
a picture of it right now. Way small.
Now, what do you think about that? Now you can direct all your answers to James. Now, I've talked to James about this before, and we did a podcast on it a while back. But what do you think? I mean, did that bother you? Because normally we're used to seeing friggin'
Tom's way up high.
Yeah. What did you think about that?
It was weird when I first walked in. I was like, man, what the heck is going on? Did they lose half their gear?
Well, I can tell you, age is not kind to any of us. And after a while, it's a little tougher to get up high and get on those rototoms up top and then move all the way around. And sometimes you just got to simplify things and just keep it all right here in front of you. And that could be part of it. But
as far as the playing and the sound of it, being a smaller set didn't take anything away. I didn't really, notice anything.
Didn't bother you at all.
My air drum too. We're all there, and hitting the cymbals in the right spot, and
I'm always usually worn out by the end of a Dream Theater show because I've drummed the entire show and I'm just completely exhausted.
Every time.
That's half the fun for me, right?
Well, it's great, and for me, I don't play anything well. I mean, I played guitar a little bit, but not enough, horrible at it, and I gave it up. But I air guitar, I air bass, I air drum, I air keyboard. It just depends on the part of the song that's coming up. You got all your favorite little licks you want to hit. And
yes,
you're right. If you are into it, you are worn out by the end of a show. It is draining. I'm always usually very soaking wet with sweat. I go for it, man.
So you were able to garner a couple of pretty cool things. Let's take a look at some stuff here right quick. You got a couple of signed set lists. How did this come about? What show was this? And that's pretty awesome right there.
So I'll tell you what those are. So the one on the right is a signed set list. That's a laminated one.
Wow.
And the drum tech for Mike, he also was a tech for Portnoy. I kind of became friends with him a little more on this tour, and he managed to get me that signed set list.
Awesome.
The other set list, even though it's not signed, and I will get it signed one day by John, but that was a set list he used the whole tour. It's laminated. They were not usually they would give them out, but they weren't giving out set lists at the end of the show. I got one other set list that I think I sent you a picture of. It might be in the mix somewhere, but that was, I talked to Maddie, John's tech, a few shows before the end. Maybe I can't remember where it was at. It was like Raleigh or Atlanta, something like that. And I said, I know you're reusing the set list every time. I go, but I'm going to catch the rest of the shows until you guys are done in America. I go, if you can, it would be awesome if you could give me that set list at the end of the last show in Austin. And he said, I'll see what I could do. And he did it, man. Maddie, right at the end of the show, I walked over there and he ripped it off the floor, handed it to me, and I'm like, fuck yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you know what it is? You were there, and he like you said, he was impressed that you that you kept coming to the shows, and you were a warrior, man. You were on the road with them, and every night they would see you out there, and they can't help but give it up for you, right?
Oh yeah, they're all really nice guys, man. I mean,
you got a bunch of pics right here from Petrucci. It looks like.
I like that.
Pics. So the white ones. The white ones on the top are the ones he throws out. The black one in the middle, that's the pick, man.
Oh,
so
dude,
that's what he plays with.
I have one of those.
He doesn't play with those other ones. He uses that black one, and he gave me that at the end of Count of Tuscany, and about shit my pants. I was like, fucking off. Thanks, John. That was great.
Wow.
And then there's two whatever, the amber colors and the white one next to it, and those were from the boys in Archeca, which was pretty cool. They gave me a couple picks too, but it made a nice little ring. I made a little thing out of it.
I'll tell you this. Look at this, man. Let me get my camera up here. See this? That's right there. He uses. I bought those. That's what I use. This pick right here.
You mean like
JP on it? Yeah, there. Yeah. Same thing, man. That's the pick I use, man.
No way.
Yeah,
I've gotten a few of these over the tours, and it's always like just he's got the ones that he keeps on there that he throws out, and then he's got the kill, what he plays with. And you don't get many of these. He doesn't even throw them out at every show. So you're damn lucky. And I'm geek enough to appreciate it. So
look at James pulling out some drumsticks here. Wow.
I've used the 420s by ProMark for I don't know, probably 15 years now at least.
I've got a couple.
Absolutely.
Sticks.
Absolutely my favorite sticks. Absolutely.
I don't play with them, but I got them at a show. That was cool.
Yeah.
So you say you didn't see him a lot when Mike was the previous Mike was the drummer
I probably
of the band,
saw
right?
him 8 to 10 times with Portnoy.
Okay.
But then, you know, how life works out, and it just, you know, my means were a little more available later in life. And I had met these friends of mine that they live in San Diego, and we met at a Rush show at the Gorge. We're like waiting to get in. We're like waiting for the VIP parking area, and they were parked right behind me. And we're at a Rush show, and I'm cranking up Dream Theater. And
Okay.
he got out and came up and talked to me. And I've got these Rush logos on the side, magnets on the side of my truck. And his wife has the Rush Starman tattoo on her back, which is exactly like my magnetic logo that was on the side of my truck. Anyway, a friendship struck up, and we've been just best friends ever since. He's my brother from another mother. Daryl, how's it going?
Yeah.
Shout out to Daryl right there. I like it.
I got to give him props. And so, but anyway, we just started going to, I mean, we've done the same thing with Rush. We travel all over to go see Rush. I mean, we went to Toronto to go see them, and we scored front row dead center tickets for a Rush show up in Toronto. Saw them 2 nights.
That's quite a feat.
Dude, we have traveled everywhere. I mean, I've traveled cross country to see Dream Theater before. You know, we've seen them in Florida before, and those times we flew. This time I drove everywhere. So
Okay.
it was crazy.
Okay.
What are we looking at right here? What show is this? Break this down for us and tell us a little bit about this night right here.
I gotta say, that looks like Dallas, and I just had to get a shot of the Count of Tuscany. I used to take a lot of videos, and I kind of quit doing it. I just rather rock out and be all sweaty when I'm done. It takes a lot of effort to take videos, and besides,
it does.
everybody else is taking videos. If I want to see from that show, I'll go on there and look at it.
Well, you know what's crazy, man? And James can attest to this. Every time I've been to the Mesa theater, they're like, you start taking videos, they shut you down right away. They did not do this the last time, and I'm thinking, man, they're gonna shut us down, and they didn't. And James has great video of that concert.
It's weird how that works out. There's certain venues even on this tour that, you know, people were doing video and they were getting shut down.
Yeah,
but it just depends on the venue. And it's funny because the venue always says it's the band, and the band
they always play it off of each other.
But my experience is it usually comes down to the venue, you know, and sometimes they're just not cool about it. And if
Hey,
busted,
we
busted.
got another one here.
Look at this right here.
Yeah, man. Where's that?
The last show.
Hey, Brian, what do you got to say?
Oh, this is my buddy Brian. Hey, Brian.
Hey, all right, Brian. Good job, brother.
And this guy, I'll never say his name right.
I love you, bro.
Vinicius.
I love
He
you
came
all,
up
man.
from Brazil, and he went to some shows. He was actually, we went to, he hit the Orlando show at the Hard Rock, and so we both went, and he was going to go to St. Petersburg with me, you know, drive over with me.
Okay.
You know, he was on his own time schedule. He's in the country for a few months, and we got so fucked up. he didn't get up the next day until like 12 o'clock. I'm like leaving to head to St. Petersburg. He's like, "There's no way I'm gonna make it, man. I don't drink that. I'm hammered. I'm still drunk."
Okay, whatever.
It's not that you can't do it anymore, so you just can't recover from it anymore. That's the problem.
Yeah, we drank.
Hey, when you get older, it's hard to recover, man.
Oh, yes, it is. It is. And
What would you say was the highlight of your trip? 13 shows. How many different states? Washington?
So what? Arizona, California, Washington, North Carolina, Georgia, Nashville, Florida, and Texas.
That's 8 by my count.
Yeah,
My goodness.
that's a lot. Damn, dude, you were all over the damn place.
I hit a few
And
places.
all on the road, no planes, all in the car.
No planes, all car. Even for the first 5 that I hit, because I did the first 5, Mesa, El Cajon, LA, Oakland, and the Seattle show.
Well,
And I wasn't sure how many more I was going to hit, and then I hit those last 8.
So give us a little play-by-play. Like what was the day about? You had to have some sort of routine as you were going through these shows and going, okay, I got to drive 400 miles to the next town. And then would you sleep in a little bit right up until check-in and then go get a big lunch and hit the happy hour before the show? Give me the breakdown.
And we
Happy
know
hour
you
was in my cooler, man.
we know you were drinking and smoking, man. So no problem, man.
Yeah, I never drank when I knew I had to drive, and if after a show, I'd either stay at a hotel or hang out long enough that if I was drinking at the show, I chilled out, and then I could take off, because sometimes I did start driving right after a show, like the LA show. I was heading to San Francisco next, and I just wanted to get out of LA. So I drove for a couple hours until I found a hotel and just chilled out. But it just depended. The first leg was a little different. The first 5 shows was a little different than the 8 run I did. The last 8, stayed at more hotels on that first leg. Didn't sleep in my truck much. Matter of fact, I never slept in my truck on that leg. But I used my truck because when they had 2 days between shows, you had a lot of miles you had to go.
Yeah.
So you couldn't get a hotel every night. I mean, it takes too much time. Get checked in, plus it costs money. So when I was in Minnesota on the way to North Carolina, my brother's wife went on Facebook Marketplace. I told her I was looking for something for the back of the truck. She found this memory foam mattress some chick was selling for $15. And I went and bought it. It was like fits half.
Perfect.
It was perfect, man. It was like the most comfortable it's ever been. It's a 2004 Tahoe. I've owned it since it had 2 miles on it. It's got 360 plus thousand miles on it now. And I've slept in that truck a lot. And that's the most comfortable I've ever been. It was kind of cool. But for that, I just, drive until I couldn't drive anymore and crash in the back of the truck at a rest stop or wherever, get up. And then I'd kind of try to work it out to where whatever city I was hitting next, I'd hit the hotel right around 1 o'clock or so, because usually you can't check in too early. So I'd hit the town, and I didn't even have hotels booked. I just would drive in and find the hotel close to the venue that was decently priced, and go find one and check in, and then I was set. So, like I said, I went by the seat of my pants for a lot of it.
You got to understand, we're living vicariously through you as you've been texting me over the last couple of months and giving me updates and, hey man, check out Petrucci right here and all. And it was awesome. I got to tell you, I can't thank you enough. Good stuff.
Good stuff. It was fun, man. I'll tell you, not for everybody, but man, I'll tell you what, I had a great time. Met a lot of cool people. Got some good stories, and that's what it's all about, man.
Right on. Hey, so let me ask you something real quick. Do those guys know you?
Oh yeah. So you want to hear a good story?
Yes,
hit us.
So we do. Yes.
I think I mentioned I've done 40 plus meet and greets, and they know who we are, and they've been really cool to us. On a side note, I mean, on one of the tours when I was with my friends Daryl and Patty, the last show was, I think, again in Austin, and we bought them champagne, cigars. Their tour manager bought him a half gallon of Grey Goose vodka, and we brought it in at the meet and greet. They let us bring it in the building. We told them what it was for, and they were cool about it, and gave it to them. And Jordan was like, they're coming backstage after the show. So we got to go backstage after the show on that tour and hang out. So that we've definitely got to hang out with them a lot. And, like you said at the beginning, when you hang out afterwards, they usually would come out. And that's what I was telling you guys, but I didn't know how it was going to be because of the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
That's how we really got to talk to them.
That time there,
But so in Dallas, at the end of that show, I'm waiting outside. There's another guy out there, and I can't remember his name, but I remember that he knew so much ridiculous information about Dallas and all the buildings and all this stuff around there. He gave me a ride back to my hotel, right? And it was like a tour guide. It was just too funny.
That is awesome.
It was crazy. But we're standing outside, and you know, I saw the tour manager, got to say hi to James and who else? John Petrucci. When he walked by, I got to talk to him. But when John stopped, the other guy was kind of talking, and I'm like, I've met these guys enough times. It's cool. I'll just let him talk to him, and then if I've got time, I'll talk to John.
Right.
And John, so I get my moment, and I'm like, so John, I got to ask you something. I'm like, dude, you know, when I'm out there, do you see me doing the, you know, doing that shit, you know? And he told me, he's like, I can't watch you because I get all distracted.
Yeah.
And he goes, you just distract, you know, it's tough. And and I'm like, are you kidding me? I distract you. There's like a couple thousand people out there, but I'm the one guy that distracts you. And he's like, the way it came out, that's how he said it. And
He's like, dude, you're at every show. What do you mean?
Yeah. And, you know,
Yeah.
dude, we could talk for hours. And to make this all make sense, you know, we do this thing with him, and I'll go back and tell you this here in a second, but we do this thing, you know, when, like in Live, when he's whatever you want to call that, he calls it a squeal. We thought he said squirrel, so now it's always
Harmonic.
It does the squirrel thing. But when John and I got done talking, he walked away, and the dude that I was with that gave me the ride, he was like, John Petrucci just said you're his kryptonite. And I'm like, what? Is that what you got out of that? Like, oh, yeah, dude. John Petrucci just told you were his kryptonite. I'm like, I guess he kind of did, didn't he? I'm like, holy shit. That's kind of
He sure did. That's right.
Wow. I will put that feather in my hat right now. That was pretty cool, man. Because he's actually, so way back, I think it was the second tour with Mangini that we were doing all the shows at. We did one in Canada, and we were doing a meet and greet, and we asked him about that, what he calls it when he does that squeal. And, you know, that's where it came out, where, you know, he said squeal. We thought he said squirrel, so it's always been a squirrel to us. But we told him, we're like, dude, we're out there. We're doing that with you every time. You know, whenever you're doing that, we're like, you know,
we're doing the squirrel, man.
And I go, you got to come over and do that with us. So he's coming into Live. We're on John Young's side. And John comes walking across the stage, and he looks at me and my buddy, and he mouths at us, are you ready? And we're like, what? He's like, are you ready? Yeah. And then started doing it. He did everyone with us. After that show, we were always kind of in the front, but he'd find us, and he'd come over and do that with us.
That's cool, man.
Another meet and greet. He's like, dude, when I play that song or do those, you guys are in my head. I'm always kind of wondering where you're at. That's what he told us. He's told me that twice, and I'm like, that's just crazy, man.
That's cool.
That's like the ultimate compliment for a fan. You know, these guys meet thousands and thousands of people every time they go on tour, and wow, for them to remember us the way they do, it's an honor, man. And they're great guys. They're all really cool about it. So,
and you know,
this is a question for you, Double D, and also I'll pose the same question to Ray. But how great is it to be able to go out and just see these guys live again after all we've been through over the past couple of years where live music was shut down? We didn't know if it was coming back or when or how or mask up or mask off or whatever. But to finally go out and have it full volume, everybody's having a good time. How great was that?
I would say that is the best I've felt in 2 years, being able to go to those shows. That first show at Mesa, I lost my mind. I was so happy. Well, you guys saw me after the show. We chatted. I was like so goddamn happy to see live music again like that, and just be able to tear it up and party with the boys.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I'm not a member of Dream Theater, but I always feel like I'm a part of their group because I know all the guys, all the techs, and you were talking about the sound. Hats off to Ace. He is the man. He's been doing their sound for a long time. Cool guy. They're all cool. I mean, Maddie, Jerry, Eric, Keith. I mean, they're all just freaking awesome, man. Every tech they have and all the guys in the band, they're just freaking great people. So I felt like the family was coming back together again, and we were having a good time. And I think James was super excited because when he came out in Mesa, I don't know if you remember this, but one of the first things he did is he came out and he gave a fist bump to somebody that was right in front. That was rare. That did not happen for the rest of the shows that I saw until like the last couple shows where he was actually, fist bumping with people.
You know what? I wanted to say something about that because, you know what? And James Poovy, that's one thing I realized about that show is that he came out, he was giving people high fives. Not high fives, but, he was slapping their hands. And I'm like, damn, this guy is just going for it. Labrie. He just went out there and just slapped people's hands. I noticed that when he went out on the first song and just like, he didn't give a damn, man.
I think he was just so excited. And he said that at every show. He was talking about how great it was just to be out and be able to play and be with everybody again. And I think that first show, the excitement hit him. And, they did a really good job of, as far as it sucked because we didn't get to see him much, but they kept in their little bubble.
Yeah.
And I just, that blew my mind when he came out and did that. I'm like,
yeah,
crap, he's not worried about anything, or is he just super, super excited?
And I was tripping on that too, man. I was because I couldn't believe he was doing that. I'm like, all right, man, these guys are back. They're just ready to go.
Yeah.
They were just kind of like caged dogs, man. They were ready to get out there and go. I mean, when it's in your blood, when that music is in your blood, and I've played for 36 years now, I think. It never goes away. You might be able to stifle it a little while. You might be able to put it in the closet for a couple months or a couple of years or something, or hey, I'm going to put that in the backseat for a while, but it doesn't go away. You are always itching to play. And then for me, if I'm listening to music, it makes it worse. I just want to play more.
Yeah.
If I turn the music off, which I can't do because I love music so much, it's just one of those self-torture type of things. But that's the way it is. When it's in your blood, it's in their blood, and they're ready to go. They were amped up and ready to play. And it's very uncharacteristic for Labrie to do any of that kind of interaction stuff. With
I've
people.
never seen.
I've seen. Since
I've done fist bumps with him, But again, too, that was at a point where those guys knew me, and if I was in the front row and James was close, he'd do the fist bump and stuff. But yeah, I mean, that was uncharacteristic for him to come out and do that. I think he just lost his mind. I mean, they didn't have a choice. They wanted to go out and play.
Oh, they did.
And everything shut down. Nobody could come out and play. It's like being on detention or something for an indefinite amount of time.
I'm not in their head or anything, but they're probably like, screw this, man. Let's go play.
James was that night. He was ready, man. He was excited.
And you mentioned a lot of those tour members as well, the tour crew members there at Double D, and those are the people that you really felt bad for during the shutdown, because those that's how they make their living. Let's face it, Dream Theater and those guys, they got a little bit of money in the bank. They'll be okay if they have to take a year or two off, but the guys that depend on those paychecks from those gigs and from those bands coming in town, that when they hire those big sound crew, those local guys too, that got shut down, like just all of it.
Yeah.
Well, and I kind of had a pretty good conversation. So when the first show in Raleigh, my deal was, before I even went to go try to find a hotel, I'd drive to the venue and just scope it out. I never been to Raleigh before, so I just drove to the venue, found a place to park, saw the tour buses, got out, walked around, kind of scoped out the scene. And I ran into Jerry and Eric. So Eric Mangini's tech, and then Jerry, John Young's tech. And they were walking down the street, and I saw him, and I started talking to him. So we probably talked for like 20, 30 minutes. And we were talking about that, and that was hard on them. You know, those guys basically, that's their gig. They cruise around, they work with those guys, and they've been doing it for forever. I mean, I can't remember any other techs in the last, 10 plus years. I don't know how long all of them have worked there, but they're all the people I've ever known, that I've met a ton of times. But yeah, that was really tough on them. So I think they were super happy to be able to be back out there on the road. That was killer for them. So
I'm glad they're doing it, man. And as far as I know, I think right now they're in Europe. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, they start tomorrow night actually in Paris, and I was thinking they were going to take a little bit of a break, but I should know better, right? They're back out there and just hard charging. I think all the way through. It looks like this leg of the tour runs through the June 1st, and then they take a couple months off. And then they do a Rockin Rio date on September 2nd, which would be a big one.
Yeah, that guy I met, Vinicius. Oh God, sorry, guy. I'm sorry. I just can't say her name right. He wants me to come down there and go to that. So,
that'd be awesome.
Make that one, but I know that they're coming back in the fall. They will be back based on talking to people that knew, they're going to be back in the fall. So look for them to come back around again. So.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Double D. I don't like it when I know they have to go overseas or whatever. When they do these festivals, I don't like it because they only do some couple 3, 4 songs, and then the European the Europeans, they don't know what they're maybe they do know, but they're not going to do all their hits or whatever. They're not going to, quote unquote hits. I know they don't have any quote unquote hits, but they just do some couple 3 songs, and then I don't like those festival things, man. That's just my opinion, because I've seen recordings of them doing stuff overseas, and I'm like, man, but I do know when they go into the Romania and all these other places, they play full concerts.
Right.
These festivals, I'm like, man, they're playing 2, 3 songs. That's it.
Well, yeah, because their songs are 20 minutes long. So how you get,
45-minute set, you get 2 songs.
You got maybe you get 90 minutes, 60 minutes to an hour at a festival, and then what 2 or 3 songs are we gonna play tonight?
I know, man, it's just crazy. I don't understand how these festival owners, do that stuff to them. It's like, man, these guys need to play for about an hour and a half,
Well, I always like their tours where they do the evening with, when it's just Dream Theater and it's, pretty close to a 3-hour show, and man, it's just packed full of goodies.
Did you get to see the shows a few years ago when they were doing that, an evening with, where they would come out and do their material, and then in the second half of the night they would come out and do Number of the Beast, or one night they did Dark Side of the Moon, and then another night they did that Deep Purple, that really good Deep Purple album that's escaping my mind right now.
Machine Head,
yes. Yeah. That was I think that was about 2002 or so they did that.
Nope, I did not get to catch
6 Degrees.
I have some of the CDs of that stuff, but I never did shows, unfortunately.
Well, okay. You know what? We're kind of getting out. I'm just going to change the subject here real quick.
Uh-oh.
Arch Echo.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Now we'll change it back to Dream Theater in just a second. But how did you like them? I love them. I love them.
They're great.
Yeah.
Again, it's like Dream Theater. You're never going to hear that shit on the radio. There's no way.
Exactly, man.
Right.
Man, those guys can play.
Oh, they were phenomenal.
Oh, my God. And those were the nicest guys. I had more interaction with them throughout the tour than I did with Dream Theater. They were a little more accessible. And I, like the first night that I really got to talk to them when I bought their CDs, and the guy, I was hanging out in the back. They had a gate there, but I saw the guy that was handling their merch, and I apologize for forgetting his name, but he was walking by, and I yelled out to him, and he took my CDs into their bus. They all signed it, and then 3 of them came out and hung out, and we just sat there and BS'd for 20 minutes. And they're like, well, hopefully we don't get in trouble for this, because I think they were supposed to kind of try to keep to themselves too. But I talked to them several times.
Good.
Great guys, man.
They're good.
Phenomenal players.
Yeah, their music is fantastic. We should probably do a show on Arch Echo, James.
We probably could. Yeah, they'd probably come on with us too.
Yeah, they'd probably talk to us.
You know what? They probably would.
they're good, man. I know it's a little like a crazy hard jazz type thing, but you know what? That's what you deal with when you go see Dream Theater and they're opening. The only other band another band I remember opening was Spock's Beard. Did you ever see those guys?
I never saw those guys. I would always be interested in going to see them, but
they're great too, man. Spock's Beard.
That Arch Echo, though, that was a perfect opening act for Dream Theater. I mean, that was the sound was great, and they were that was exactly what you would want to hear at least for me as a Dream Theater fan before, like, to get me warmed up for DT. That was it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I made it a point after the shows to ask people about them, what they thought of them, and I never heard a negative word about them. They're like, man, those guys are great. They're players. I mean, Jesus, everybody was excited to see them. So.
Yeah.
Hats off to them, man. They made a good choice, and hopefully those guys keep going down that road. I think they're working on another album right now, actually.
So Double D, I got a question for you. We want to keep you on all night.
No, man, I don't swing that way. Sorry, man.
Okay. So, see now, James and I have gone back and forth about this. And I'm really interested, and I'll tell you my answer. What is your favorite Dream Theater album?
Ooh.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you mine, and you probably won't like it, but I'll tell you.
Oh, no.
Because I told James this, and he's like,
Well, here's kind of my standard answer, and I have the same problem with Rush. I mean, people will go, "Oh, what's your favorite Rush album?" And a lot of times, it kind of depends on my mood.
Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite album.
That's fair. That's fair.
I go through little cycles where, Train of Thought. I mean, man, that album just gets me driving.
Yeah.
Metropolis Part 2 is just off the hook, ridiculous.
Oh man.
I mean, I could listen to that every single day.
Celebrity Theater, January 31st, 2000.
Okay.
What's that?
That's where I saw that. That was the first concert I saw after I moved to Phoenix, was the Metropolis at Celebrity Theater here in Phoenix, which is in the Round. It's one of only 2 stages I heard in the country that have a revolving stage.
Wow, cool.
So the whole stage moves. They have some kind of conduit down the middle where they pipe all the stuff in, and then everything just twirls around it. It's pretty cool. But that was a great show.
I mean, Octavarium, that's on the top of my days. It's so hard for me to pick a favorite album. And I like their new stuff too. I mean, all the albums that they've put out in the last 10, 12 years, I love it.
Okay. I'm going to tell you
I don't know if I can answer your question.
Okay.
One particular.
I'll answer my own question. For me, and a lot of people will not like this, that hear this or watch it or whatever.
Yeah, I got to hear your answer.
I told James this before. I think, now I love all their stuff. Now, you guys both know that. I'm a hardcore Dream Theater fan. I think their best album is the astonishing.
Right on.
All I hear is crickets. I don't hear nothing. So
Dude, I love that album, my friend. Matter of fact, I got the marquee signed at that show, and I got it signed. I saw that tour. I did see that one 11 times. Went and saw that 11.
Wow. You know what's crazy?
There you go,
that?
Ray.
Okay, so you're on my side. Okay, so look, man.
I love that album.
So my wife, she loves Dream Theater. And I told her when we went to see this show, I said, hey, they're not going to, because they came out ahead of time and said, hey, man, we're not playing anything else. We're just playing this album. That's it. Right. There's no encores or anything.
Oh, they did have an encore. They had a 1 or 2 song encore with that, but they did play the whole Astonishing.
Okay, well, if you saw an encore, then you didn't see what I saw in Mesa. But I told her, I'm just telling you, I just told her, I said, it's just straight out this album. And she's like, oh, okay, but anyway, we went to see that, man. That is there's so many songs on that album that are hits, in my opinion.
Well, what I like about it is you get, if you take the time to get vested in the story and the music,
and
I can just sit there and put that on, and it's just amazing to listen to. I love it. There's some great songs on there. I mean, just on their own, but the whole thing together is it's great. It's a piece of work, man. It's definitely a great piece of work.
And I've read stuff online about how this is just John Petrucci doing his thing, and I know that he wrote it all, and him and Rudis did everything, but I'm like, man, this thing is it's a beautiful album, in my opinion, and I don't know about you, James, but man, it's just like.
Well, I don't really have a comment on these songs. That's probably one of the least listened to albums of Dream Theater that I've heard, honestly. So that's why I can't really say for one way or another. But I keep going back to Awake as my favorite album.
Okay, Awake.
I don't know if it's just because that just the drumming on that album is unbelievable, and. So much good music on there. But another question I have for you guys is, I've been listening to this band for 30 years now. 92 was the first time I ever heard them on Z-Rock. And I heard Pull Me Under. And I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
What was that I just heard? Was that double bass? Was that this? Was that? You know what I mean? And you're like, whoa. And I understand that. Now, I understand they almost hate the song to this day, and Mike got tired of playing it back in the day anyway, but that song was really the one that did it for him. But almost not every album, but almost every album that comes out from them, sometimes at first it doesn't really hit you. You might have to listen to it 5, 6, 8 times before it really starts like, oh, okay. Ooh, that's give me a little bit more of the track 4 right there. Do you guys feel the same way about that?
About Awake?
About any of them?
Any of them? Oh, I think that almost, even with Rush, I always went through that same syndrome where, there's always 1 or 2 songs that like stand out. I'm like, okay, that's going to be my favorite song. That's the one. But then I keep going back and listening to the other stuff. And even like the Astonishing, especially, I knew that one was going to be tougher. You had to take some time to listen to it, get into the story, and then everything comes together. And if you're that patient to be able to do that, then like Ray says, that thing was freaking killer. I love that. I really do. I love that album.
You know what, Double D? You know what? I got to tell you, man. That's how I got into it. It's just I heard it and I'm like. When I first heard Sound of Music, or what's that first song? I don't remember it. I don't even remember it now. See, that's how much I know it. But
hold on. tell you.
He's got the track listing queued up.
I can tell you.
Wait for it.
Yeah. Play it. I don't give a damn. I want to hear it.
Dystopian Overture. That part or the Gift of
No,
Music?
what's the next one down?
The Gift of Music.
Gift of Music. Gift
yeah.
of Music. When I first heard that, I was like, that sounds kind of electronic. I'm like, oh man, they're just, it's all, I didn't like it. In fact, I think I even told James, man, I'm not down with that. Now, but then when I started listening to it again and I started getting into it and I heard the whole album, I'm like, man, this is every song on that album could be a hit on any other album could be. And I
great songs on there. A New Beginning, that was the one that was my first go-to when I ran through it the first time. I'm like, holy shit, that song is First it was 3 days, and then I hadn't gotten through the rest of it, and then New Beginning came on, and I'm like, holy fuck, that's my favorite song. It is, and I mean, it's just crazy. Heaven's Grove, another great song.
You gotta listen to it. You got to listen to it, and there's a couple of instrumentals on there that are crazy good. I'm like, man, this is some good stuff here, man. And I just, I don't know. I might be getting stupid here, but man, that was some good stuff, man. Both.
So you were talking about the albums, and I think I mentioned a couple, but Black Clouds is another one.
Yes.
I think it's just kick-ass, man. And I gotta tell you, I went through some shit. I was married. My wife, Patty, she would go to these shows with me, and then she got sick and she got cancer and passed away.
Oh, man,
there's songs on there that just would make me fucking cry every time. But the best of times, that song, I still cannot.
Man, I love that song, man.
It is so good. And I don't know if you've ever seen there's a video online where John or where Mike Portnoy's, it's just him, and he's playing the drums, so it's the whole video is just him playing the drums.
Oh boy,
you can see the emotion in that guy's face because he wrote that about his dad, and it's like, oh God.
You know what? There was a video that I used to watch all the time on that song, Best of the Time, and they took it offline, man. YouTube took it offline. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, excuse my language.
We're not supposed to swear.
I'm just saying.
It's probably a licensing thing or a rights thing or something.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to say that, but I'm just saying, why would you take that offline? I mean, that's such a great song, and it talked about his dad. And man, I can feel your pain there, man. I can feel your pain there, man. It's a great song.
Yeah, Disappear too. Labrie wrote that. And I asked him, so at one of the after show meet and greets that I did with him. So, that's on 6 Degrees.
Yeah.
That song crushes me too, because it was so in tune with what I was going through. Mm-hmm. And so I asked James, what was your inspiration for that song? I thought maybe he knew somebody who got married and their spouse got sick and died. And he said he was like at a mall or something and saw this couple. And then he started thinking, and they looked really happy and all that. And then he was thinking, what would happen if one of them got sick? And that's how he came up with it. And that song, if you don't cry listening to that song, and I'm sorry. Sorry, everybody out there in the world. I cry on songs. I can't help it.
It's okay because the one you're talking about, and then the Best of Times, man. That every time I hear that song, it brings tears to my eyes. It really does, man. I'm just like, man, that is a powerful song. Powerful.
It is, and they've got a lot of them. It's like, man, you could go through their whole catalog, and there's something.
Okay, if you go back to the one with the story when the best not at best of times, but the one with
Metropolis.
yeah,
Or-
yeah. Where do we go from? Why are we here? Where do we go?
Oh, okay. Oh, you're talking about the song that I want played at my funeral is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the song I
Where
want
do
played at
we
my
go?
funeral.
Yeah.
What song is that?
Track
do we
11
go
on
from?
Metropolis.
Why are we here? Where do we
Oh God,
Spirit
yeah.
Carries On.
Yeah, when they on the last tour when they played that whole album, gee,
Oh man, that's a tearjerker, man.
that crushes me, man.
Yeah, that song. What's it called?
The Spirit Carries On.
Spirit Carries On, man. And
The
Petrucci.
part where he says, "Don't weep at my grave," it's like,
Yeah, man. I'm like, oh my goodness.
I'm done.
Just play some Dream Theater. That's all you
Yeah.
got to do.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh man.
yeah, I teared up every time on that song. And-
Oh man, that is a. And
But I
these
teared up when John Petrucci has stood in front of me and played the most amazing freaking guitar solo right in front of me. And as a matter of fact, I think it was in Dallas where that happened when they were playing off of Systematic Chaos. What the hell is that song?
Forsaken?
No, it was. I got to go back. In the
Oh,
presence of
I
enemies.
know what it is. I know exactly what you're talking about. I just can't remember the name of it.
In the presence of enemies, and there's that guitar solo in there that is just off the hook.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And right towards the end, and he, I don't know what it was that one show. He's playing it there, and I just lost my mind.
I know exactly what song you're talking about. It's very emotional. You know, it's so emotional. It's like,
But-
man, this guy knows how to. He knows how to tug your heartstrings, man.
But that's what their music does for me. I mean, a lot of people don't understand. Even a lot of my friends that aren't big, huge music fans,
Right.
they don't get what I was doing. But for me, the music is so powerful. Rush was the same way for me. And it's like, these are my two bands that are just so crazy powerful, the way they make me feel. I go to a show and instead of being the age that I am, I feel like I'm freaking 13 and I've got all the energy in the world. And no matter what, I can make it through a whole show and do things that I should be able to do. I pay the price after, but it's just the way that their music makes me feel. That's why I did what I did. I mean, 13 shows, 10,250 miles, and good times.
And Double D, that's exactly why we wanted to have you on here tonight, and exactly why we made that instant connection with you in Mesa back in February, because we could tell you were the same sort of fan about this band like we are.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. Yes, we did definitely make that connection. So, and there's a lot of us out there, and we all seem to meet at Dream Theater concerts.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. We appreciate you taking the time out tonight talking about the band. And as you said a little bit earlier, hopefully they'll be making another run in the fall. They usually seem to go around the States at least 2 times, sometimes 3 on a certain album, right?
2. I don't know if I've seen 3. That might happen, but I know for sure they're coming in the fall. I would say 99% based on.
I think they are. Yeah, they just gotta. They're probably. I've always heard they rest 2 or 3 weeks between each tour. So yeah.
Yep. They've got little breaks that they have in there. So hopefully they get a good break after they do Europe and that whatever festival down in Brazil and come out fully loaded again. And do an evening with.
Hey, maybe you'll make it down to Rockin Rio. Maybe you and Ray will get down there together, and you guys can give us an update from down there or something.
Oh, you thinking about going to that, Ray?
I think Ray. Yeah, I think Ray's going to get on that big bird and get down there with you.
No, man. I ain't doing that.
My problem is with the festivals like that, though. I'm at that age where I can't do the festival seating where it's just open and you got to try to stand there. There's just no way. I can't buy a ticket and be where I want to be. No, I'm not doing it.
Have a little bit more control over the whole thing. I
Yeah.
haven't done one of those big festivals yet. We're talking obviously like Coachella or something like that, where it's just hundreds of thousands of people and everybody's just. They used to have that stuff back in the day. Of course, I was too young to actually go to it, but like the Texas Jam back in the late 70s, where it was Van Halen and Sammy Hagar and Journey and all the Loverboy and all the biggest bands that were out right then. And there was like 105,000 people. Everybody's passing out from the heat. And I can imagine it's something like that, right?
Yep. That's how they are. And I'm past that point of being able to go to those kind of shows.
Yeah, man.
And you think about, you guys have seen Rush in Rio. You look at that video where those people are just jumping up and down. You got 70,000 people out there just going buck crazy. It's like,
so
I am going through that sea of people. No way.
No.
So WB, I know you're a Rush fan. Now, next week or the week after, I'm not sure how we're going to do this, but I have a friend of mine that is a hardcore Rush fan. And you can, and James is going to help me with this. Now you can play any song. You can play any song. It doesn't matter where it's from, what album, whatever. He can tell you the name, what album it's from, and what year it's from. This guy is hardcore. Okay. And you might want to tune in for that, man. or if you want to come on and make a comment or whatever, if you're around, we'd love to have you on, man. This guy, he can do it.
I'm just wondering. I might have met him at a Rush show. Especially if he was a Rush rat, man. That might be somebody.
Well, he's just a hardcore Rush fan, man. I don't know too many people like that. Like,
you want to see something cool? Can I stand up for a second? It's within.
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
So, do you recognize?
Oh boy.
Yeah. Right.
So,
what the heck?
That's old Chromie, man. That's from All the World's a Stage. Wow. I got to sit on that thing and bang around on it, and that was in Toronto. And they had there was a local newspaper there. And right before I got up on there, the guy's like, "Hey, do you mind if I take your picture while you're on there? I might use it in a paper article. Is that okay with you?" And I'm like,
wow.
"Yeah, sure shit." I made their little local newspaper in Toronto, and my picture's on there. That
is awesome.
I'm like, no, my friends were freaking out.
Hey, I'll just tell you this: the first time I saw Rush is from Moving Pictures.
Okay.
At the Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum or whatever you want to call it, and man, it was badass, man. I mean, it was just like Rush, man. And
awesome.
you know who opened up for him? Max Webster.
Yeah, I remember that.
Max Webster, man.
That was my second Rush show. Waves was my first Rush show in '79. I remember that well.
Yeah, I was probably there, man, and that was like Rush, man. And then man, we can get into Rush later, but let's.
We could talk about Dream Theater, James. I think you said it earlier. We could talk for 5 hours about this stuff.
Oh, I don't doubt that whatsoever. I mean,
I barely gave you a quarter, or not even 10% of any of the stories that I had from the road, which were just different other stuff, crazy stuff.
Well, the best part about this podcast, we can do whatever we want, and we can do another show whenever we want. We can have a part 2 and talk more about the stories.
Yeah,
it's anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Are you down for talking with us again for some other adventures?
Going and doing what I just did?
Yeah, man, Dream Theater adventures,
Oh yeah. If I've got the time, I'll do it.
Oh,
I mean, even when I always made it work. We pick our shows. This time I just was able just to have the time off. I'm like, I'm just gonna hit the road and drive and do this. In a normal world, usually I would fly and strategically hit certain cities. Might hit 3 or 4 here, 2 here, 4 more over here. You know, it just depends. I mean, I've flown over to go see him in Florida before, but we also came back and hit Texas, and you know, we also did Arizona on the way. So it's like you just got to work it out the best you can, and it depends on how their tour is. But I'll always do as many shows as I possibly can, and I don't care if I hear the same song every night. You know, this tour they didn't
either, man.
change anything.
With that.
But other tours they've changed songs out, and I mean they've asked us before when we're doing the meet and greets, what do you guys think about this song? You know, or
I like that.
You feel like you like it in the set, and you know, they played oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to think of the song right now. It's on one of their albums. It's not like it's not one of their regular albums. It was one of the fan albums or something, and they played it for five shows before they pulled it out of the set, and it happened to be one of my Don't Look Back, I think is the name of it. And it's got this great guitar solo in it, and they freaking pulled it out, and I'm like, damn it. But they're looking out at the crowd. Nobody else knows the song because it's not on a major album or anything like that. It was one of their little things that they would put out to their fan club, and nobody really knew the song, but I knew it and I love it, and it just was ridiculously crazy guitar solo in it. But I get it. You gotta make changes sometimes. So.
Hey, well, do you have anything that you want to promote, or like a website or anything, man?
Me? No, I don't go on Twitter or Facebook or anything like that. But I do have. There are videos that I've taken in the past to Dream Theater. I got some really killer ones on YouTube. And
all right, where can we find that stuff? Where can people find that? What's the name of the channel, or what's your username on YouTube?
My username is Double D YYZ.
Okay. And
I could tell you, give me a half a second, and I'll tell you. So I've got a Endless Sacrifice with Mangini's drum solo in the middle of it, and I've got the whole thing, and I'm in the front row. And it's ridiculous. Somebody made a comment on there like, dude, you should have filmed the whole damn show. I can't. I got to rock out, man. It was hard enough to hold the thing for 20 minutes.
Oh, man.
But, you should be able to find it under. I'm just doing a search. I wonder if you can.
That's fine, because we'll promote it, and
But all I want to promote is Dream Theater, baby.
Yeah.
Rock out. Enjoy the music. If you get a
That's
chance to go to shows, go to a show. Rock your ass off. Have a good time. Sweat. Meet people. That's what the cool thing is. You just always meet people.
Yes.
I met you guys. I always meet people at these shows.
Hey, man, and check out Rockin' Rewind podcast, because the same night we met you, we met the photographer that does all those shows.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, we had him on. Go check out the YouTube channel there, and we had him on a couple shows ago. So he shared a couple cool photos with us.
And check that out.
Yeah.
And, I don't know the best way to get you a link to those videos, but yeah, if you look up Endless Sacrifice, that's the main one. You'll find that. Double DYYZ. It's Endless Sacrifice live.
Okay.
And it should come up.
And we can share some of those on our next show too here, no problem as well.
Yeah, I just wrote it down, man. We're gonna get you up there. And yeah, man. We need to get you out there. But we would love to talk to you again if that's possible.
I'd be game for that. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, you guys are awesome guys, man. It was like if we were not, 1,200-1,600 miles away from each other.
Yeah. Why don't you need to hurry up and get down here, man.
Talking about it might be sooner than later, so we'll see what happens. But
you never know.
You never do know.
You never know.
Right,
if you find that Endless Sacrifice, though, it's like 20 minutes long.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in there.
There it is. I just found it. So Dream Theater, Endless Sacrifice, and then I also put in there Mike Mangini drum solo, and that was Anaheim 12-11. So
Okay.
and if you find that video, then you find
That's
me.
you?
See my other ones, and I got some crappy ones on there too, but that one's a really good one. So
Awesome.
damn cool.
I
And
think James has it there, right, James?
No, I haven't pulled it up yet,
Okay.
but we'll
But
pull
you
up
got-
some stuff
you got it
and
though, right?
yeah, I wrote a couple things down here right quick.
Okay. All right, man. We're gonna get you.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get you on here, man.
Thank you for joining us, pal. We appreciate it.
hey, thanks for inviting me, man. I appreciate it. It was awesome to meet you guys, and glad that you brought me on your show. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it, and we will talk to you probably fairly soon, man. We'll talk about Dream Theater again. We love those guys, man. So
It's hard just to even get somebody to understand how I feel about that band.
And here's what I'm gonna do for you, man. I have it written down here. I'm gonna direct the wait, what's the best way to, well, hold on a second when we get done.
We'll get all your pertinence.
Well, no, I'm gonna talk to the other Dream Theater guys because I want them to talk to you.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
That'd
yes.
be awesome.
So give me an email address or something real quick. Somebody to contact you.
James has got it. He's got my info.
Okay.
Yes, I'll send it over to you here in just a little bit, Ray.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's
Absolutely.
I
all,
want you guys to talk to you.
so he's been we've been going back and forth a little bit today, and I sent him all that stuff.
Yeah, they're gonna love you, man. They're gonna love you, man.
Did you have any other pictures that you wanted to show that was in that mess of stuff?
Let's see.
One.
I tried to pull some up, but I couldn't quite get them to come up right, and I don't know if it was probably my mistake, but let's see.
There's one. Man, I know which one. Where is it?
Yeah, they're gonna love you, man. Those guys. This is a exclusive Dream Theater podcast, and they will love you, man. They're gonna have you on, and they have like thousands of.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Thousands
I
of,
have to swear on that one.
yeah.
Hey,
You're
Exactly.
real quick, James, look in that file that I sent you. If you got it, that it says DT 6.1, and there's a shot. This is my favorite shot from the whole tour, as far as just JP by himself.
Let's see.
It's 6.1. There's 4 pictures in there. There's one with him and Myung, a shot of Mangini, and a shot at the place that I stopped in New Orleans.
Okay.
St. Patty's Day, before midnight, on my way out, I hit and got a Guinness while I was on the road. Never been to New Orleans. That was cool. But
that was your first time, huh?
That was my first time. Never been there, and I did not spend more than 30 minutes there. Went in.
Around or what? Are you driving all this time?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was driving.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, I was on my way. Yeah, I ended up stopping that night, like 2-3 in the morning. I thought somewhere out of New Orleans there would be a rest stop real quick. I didn't find one for 2 hours. I was like so tired.
Oh wow.
I'm like, this is brutal, man. But anyway, it was crazy. It was good times, man. I would do it 100 times again. Easy. But yeah, if you find that picture, you got to pop that up real quick.
Hey man, hey, do you play an instrument at all, or you just?
I tried to play guitar. You know, I did that.
Well, you're like me, man. You're
I
like
played
me.
piano for 3
The
years.
hobby or whatever.
But I am just the ultimate air master. I jar your ass into the
I understand. Oh,
You're in the right set.
There's the bulldog.
Stop that. So
Look at this, the bulldog. All right.
find the
There we go.
there should be a JP picture in there.
Let's see here. I'm adding them in here right now. That's a real good one right there. Here we go.
Look at that. Oh wow. Okay. Here we
You
go.
guys are seeing it before I do, so
Oh wow, that's
that's
awesome.
like my favorite picture from
Dude, you're right there in the front, right there.
Man, that's great.
yeah.
That's
If you
awesome.
farted, I would have smelled it, man. I was like, yeah.
JP, man.
There's
And
another good shot right there of Mangini's drum kit.
Yeah,
you know, we were talking about the way he set up his drums this time. It was really hard to see him, but there are pictures that I got of him. He was always smiling. The camera shots, it was hard to get a good shot of his face, but he was always happy. Those guys were having a great time.
Oh, that's another
they were
great
just having a
picture.
blast.
Well, hey, you know what, Double D?
The Johns.
So, yeah.
I was asking James, why such a small drum kit? What do you think about that, man? Because I'm used to seeing Portnoy with 50,000 drums up there, and this guy comes out on this tour with 10 drums.
Ray's disappointed, Double D.
I'm just saying.
Good.
What?
Dude, there's a lot going on right there, Ray.
Okay, all right. I'm not
There's
a
a
drummer.
lot going on right there. He's got an extra floor tom on his left side.
Okay.
And he plays, he plays a little bit different. A lot of drummers will play cross-handed, with your right hand on the hi-hat, but he can play, he'll play a lot of where he plays the left hand on the left-sided hi-hat, but when you're that good, you can do that.
Okay, well,
He made it work, man. He beat the shit out of that thing during the show.
Yes,
like man.
Well, I'm just saying,
But
Double
it's tough
D.
to get sticks, but thank you, Eric. You're the man.
Yeah, oh, look at that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, I'm just saying, Double D. I'm not a drummer, and I've talked to James about this before on the show, and I'm like, man, what's up with the small drum kit? And now I'll be honest with you. When the drummer does a solo, I will get a beer. So I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
Well, hey, at least you're honest, right?
So Ray, watch that endless. Find that endless sacrifice video I took, and watch that.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, there's Arch Echo right there.
Hey, Arch Echo, man. All right.
Those guys were great. But yeah, tell me that you wouldn't sit there and watch Mangini do a drum solo after watching that thing. It is ridiculous. Okay. The one-handed drum rolls that man does is insanity.
Okay,
James, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do indeed. My first experience with Mike Mangini was when he was with Extreme for a little while in the late 90s, and I got to see them in a small club in Dallas called Dallas City Limits, and it was a killer show. And I don't know if you're an Extreme fan or not, but I love that band.
I saw them in a small town it was called Kent, south of Seattle.
Okay.
Club, and this was before they hit it big on MTV and all that other stuff. It was great, and I loved them then. And I've seen Benacourt play. He's gone out with the
G3 and stuff.
Not the G3. They call it, what the hell did they call it?
Generation Axe or something.
Yeah, Generation Axe. It was him and Zach Wild and Petrucci, and oh my God, it was just crazy.
Just phenomenal stuff. Great. We could do a whole show on Extreme, and maybe we will one day.
There you go. I mean, I love Extreme. I still got all CDs from these guys.
Well, listen, brother. We have a lot of bands that we talk about. I mean, are you down with talking to us with other bands and all that stuff?
Dude, anytime, man.
All right, man.
Okay. Here's the thing. I've got friends that are like music and stuff, but we don't hang out all the time. And the friends that I have local where I live, they're not big music fans like I am. Like I said, they don't understand what I did. They're just think
they're like, you did what?
You're just why would you do that?
Where?
Why would you go see the same
for who?
band play the same song 13 times?
Yeah.
And you can't explain it to them. It's like the Rush fan that your buddy that knows every single song, knows when it came out. I mean, I know I could probably sing 95% of the lyrics to Rush songs and
Okay.
all the songs, but
Yeah, man.
You get it or you don't. You either get it or you don't.
That's it.
No, man. We want to talk to you some more. Maybe I don't know. Maybe when we talk to my Rush buddy here, maybe have you on and say, hey, man, maybe you can guess some of these songs names. We're gonna put them to the test. Really knows every Rush song, and I guarantee you this guy knows, man. But whatever. So
good stuff.
Great.
Well, thank you, Double D, for taking the time out. We're sorry for keeping you so long, but we enjoyed the conversation, and we will definitely do it again very soon.
Totally appreciate it, my friends, and I'll definitely appreciate the offer for coming on again, and I'd be happy to do that. Be a good time, man.
Absolutely.
There's not enough time in the day for us to talk about everything.
That's right.
I know. No kidding. Thank you, pal. Have a great night. We appreciate your time.
All right, man. Thanks, James.
Thank you, Double D.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Man. You're the man.
Dream Theater!
Right on.
Love it.
All right, brother.
Take care, bud.
All right, man. Peace out.
All right, man.